Hi, well, praise the Lord Jesus, who has provided a mess of fish for me to clean in answer to prayer. The purpose of today's video is to compare the Bubba blade electric knife with a Dexter Russell manual knife. And in the process, we're going to fillet 4 fish and do a little compare and contrast. I'll talk the way through it as I do it. We'll fillet 2 catfish, one with the Bubba blade and one with the Dexter Russell. And then we'll fillet 2 bass.
At the name of Jesus, every knee shall bow. At the name of Jesus, every tongue confess.
5-pound catfish. And I'm generally under the impression that it's cutting through the ribs is why it's dulling the blade so quickly. But to me, that's a big advantage of an electric knife, and it's so much faster and easier to cut through the ribs and then cut the ribs out as a second step. You can keep doing it that way. Trim that little yellow meat off of the channel catfish along with that fin on top. It seems like this newer set of blades is getting dull on me. Hasn't been that many fish with the new ones. Alright, I'll probably trim this up a little bit. This yellower meat on top tastes a little bit fishy. You see, when I cut it off the skin, I also didn't get it completely off the skin there, so I'll go ahead and go to the Dexter Russell to cut that bit of skin off. Alright, well, my technique on catfish with the manual blade is not to cut through the rib bones. It's to kind of, and it's quicker and it doesn't get as much meat, but to keep it behind the rib bones. First cut down the back, behind the ribs. Second cut. Separate the fillet from the backbone. Oh, there's a couple spots there. Just clean that up. Oh, I ended up inside the rib a little bit. Fix that. and then separate the fillet from the skin. And I really like the job that the Dexter Russell does a little better than the Bubba Blade Electric. Alright, some nice catfish fillets. Very pleasing, those are going to be good. So the way I fillet them is just go down to the backbone. And I cut through the ribs, which might contribute to why the blades get dull so fast. Fish over about 5 pounds, I use one of the E-stiff blades, depending on how big it is. I use the 9-inch E-stiff for striped bass over about 5 pounds. And, well, I've even used a 12-inch E-stiff. There was a little bit of a learning curve for the first few fish, but once you get the hang of it, it's really nice. I use a cross-handed technique because I always like having the dorsal or the back side of the fish pointed toward me. Alright, so really not much time at all. Two nice spotted bass with the Dexter Russell electric knife, and once the blades start to get dull, which happens kind of quickly, I prefer, the Bubba Blade electric knife. I cleaned the fish with a moment ago, and once the blades get dull, and they start to get dull, and they get dull kind of quickly, I prefer my Dexter Russell. And this is a very old Dexter Russell. I've had this knife for a decade, but the nice thing is you can sharpen it using standard sharpening techniques, and it stays sharp. It holds an edge, and just so my bass cleaning technique is to go ahead and cut through the bones, the rib bones on the first cut. So down along the back, separate it. Then separate the fillet from the skin. That was the second cut. And then as a third cut, separate the fillet. Just cut the ribs out. Alright, so I really like filleting bass more with the sharp Dexter Russell than I do with the not so sharp Bubba Blade, and the Bubba Blade gets dull so quickly that I think I'll be filleting most of my bass in the future with the manual Dexter wrestling.
Hi. Suicide rates are rising rapidly, so most Jesus followers should prepare ourselves for a more active role in preventing suicides. We are on the front line since pros rarely get involved until a foot soldier helps connect people in crisis with trained professionals. E94.org is a Christian ministry dedicated to equipping the church to prevent suicide through free training of foot soldiers to prevent suicide through training, consulting, and resources. Get equipped to give hope and help and confidently refer people to professional counselors. Learn more at e94.org. Thank you.